It's exhausting in here. Somebody called me. I wasn't paying attention. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Mike Frank and Christian Olson. Two Baltimorons over here. I really was hoping Donnell was going to stay.
Yeah, dude, it would have been legit to have him on the podcast.
Next time. Anyway, so we're talking a little bit about why your house didn't sell. I want to watch this quick Instagram reel. We're going to take a clip here.
Expired and your house didn't sell, you're likely feeling a little frustrated. So here are the possible reasons why your house didn't sell. Did you limit access to your house? One of the biggest mistakes you can make when selling your home is restricting the days and times when potential buyers can tour it. Did you make your house stand out? When selling your house, the old saying matters. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. If people drive by but aren't interested enough to walk through the front door, you'll never sell your house. The biggest mistake sellers make is overpricing their home. So pay attention to the feedback people give your agent during open houses and showings. If lots of people are saying the same thing, it might be a good idea to think about lowering your price.
All right, go.
I will say he is speaking facts. Out of all the languages he decided to choose.
Okay.
The first one I can resonate with a lot.
Which one?
The one about limiting showings. It's like you're here to the market to sell your house. Why make it more challenging for the people that want to buy your house to buy your house?
I think it's hard because when I'm working with a client, I always am very clear about it. Like, hey, if you have a kid or the dog or you guys need to get home at a certain time to take care of a certain thing, a medical reason, and you need to block out time, right? Like, hey, my baby's sleeping from 1:30 until 2:30 on Saturday.
No, I get that entirely.
Block out time.
I understand that.
You as a seller deserve every ounce of respect. The problem is, I think that agents aren't having that conversation, and so sellers are guiding it.
Well.
So I'm not available on Saturdays.
Well, there's another piece to this. I understand, like, putting your baby down to rest in the middle of the afternoon. You can't have any people come over.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
When you eliminate all showings and you say only on weekends, what the hell are you doing?
I mean,
no, there's no, in my world, there's no justification.
I want to have some appreciation for other agents and assume that maybe
I feel like agents are scared of losing the damn listing and they just kind of give in. So it's like, yeah, we can only have showings on the weekend, and then shit goes poorly, and you as a seller don't have a real expectation of what it's going to take to sell your house.
I totally
And that's how
agree
you
with
get
that.
to the expired. That's how you get to be, I don't say for sale by owner, but expired. Right? Like your expectation going to the market is not clear. Think about it logically. You're going to sell something. Why make it more difficult for anybody to get that product or that service?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
I think, let's see, limit access. Oh,
The other one was...
because the first impression is the opportunity that the buyer gets to walk through the home. I do agree with the sentiment that the buyer should have the opportunity to come through the home as often as possible. And especially as a seller, if you make your home available and often early in the listing process, you should be able to sell more expeditiously. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, maybe being a little bit more frugal with your time or your commitment, I do understand. But at least, like, hey, shoot an explanation, right? The very first thing that I do as an agent, if there's a blocked out time, is I reach out to the listing agent. Hey, can I show Saturday at 2? That's the very first thing I do. And so the listing agent commonly goes, well, let me reach out to the seller. And then they call me back and they're like, oh, well, normally that's the time that they put their baby down and that's why they didn't want to. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I would have never asked.
Right.
Because I have respect. I would have just, hey, buyers, can we come another time? Can we schedule it another, in accordance with another calendar date? It's just like, there's so much opportunity and agents, like you said, they're afraid of offending the seller.
Yeah. And like, I'm not saying I don't respect sellers or people's time or their time blocks or scheduling, but I think there's a degree at which it is acceptable and unacceptable, and I see it more on the unacceptable side a lot of the times in the market. It's where it's doing the sellers a disservice.
An abuse that sellers use. And the challenge is that buyers
are
just equally...
the seller. I want to make that clear too.
Buyers are equally abusive with the time as well, because buyers are like, oh, well, and they don't let me in, then I actually don't even want to buy that home. And I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't be abusing your time or your agent's time by going to look at that home if that's how you feel. If you're that cavalier to the condition of a property, why are you trying to get into it in the first place?
Right. And then also, like, this kind of ties into it. I know it's a little different, but like the flexibility with time. Like if someone's 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early or 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, you're selling your house, and most likely these buyers aren't just going to see one property in the day.
Right.
Right. So like go into selling your home with the expectation that some people could be early, some people could show up 10 minutes
also
into the appointment.
Also, like,
and
we're a freaking human.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you show up 20 minutes late, you don't just, like, walk in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a seller in there that might be putting their baby down to bed, or they might be in the shower. So this is not your house, right? And on the other end of that, like, how about we have respect for the buyers that, like, oh my God, we were running 5 minutes late. There was a car accident. I got a flat tire. I respect that people make that shit up all the time. But at the same time, it's just a byproduct of where we are in the world. Like, come on, give people a break.
Just the world.
It's just, give them a break. Last piece that he said was overpricing your home is the worst thing that you can do. And I find it funny that overpricing and making the property available and marketing and all these other pieces of the puzzle are so important and they're so interesting. But what if they all went together?
They do.
Oh my God. What if we said to a buyer, hey, look, we're going to price it really, really low, but you can only come in Tuesday nights, right? Like, that sucks, but hey, the property's priced really, really low. I bet you they're going to make their Tuesday night affordable.
Well, yeah, well,
right?
That's true. That's true.
And
but
if
also
they
on
price
the other,
really, really high,
it's going to be the other
make
effect.
yourself available. Hey, you want all the buyers in the marketplace to come to your home. And the argument that I have with clients often is, hey, if we move out for a week and we price it at an aggressive price point, so we're talking maybe 97% of market value or 100% of market value, we're not trying to go for the highest price in the neighborhood, right? We're just trying to get the home sold. We price it at a very aggressive price point. Then we move out for a week. We go on vacation. Sellers all the time are like, oh, well, when we get back from vacation, we'd like to list the house. I'm like, why don't you list it before you go on vacation when you can leave it clean and free of debris and you take the dog with you? Take it, go away, and then allow the buyers to come and see your house priced at an affordable price point, and then boom, it sells.
Yeah, what if you come back from your vacation and you're like, oh, I got 3 offers now.
May I have my water? Can you pass me my water? Real estate
was actually
with
much
service.
farther away.
It looks very close, but I've reached across this table. It's not so easy. All right, so in a crazy market, it's difficult to understand why your house wouldn't sell, especially in a market like today, right? So we're in a market where houses are selling in 3 days and 4 hours and 7 minutes with multiple offers before they've even come to the market. We've got agents that are listing properties saying the sellers would consider a pre-market offer. They're literally saying it right in the marketing. And then what happens? Well, lo and behold, we're right back to the center and the property is sitting on the market and it's not selling and sellers are wondering why. So I think you have to understand the foundation. What are the 4 reasons why houses sell?
Overpricing.
No, that's the other way. The 4 reasons why houses actually sell.
Oh, I thought you said didn't sell. My bad. The reason that they do sell?
Correct.
Condition.
Condition is 1.
Location.
Location is 4. At least you've eliminated
Price.
the middle finger, right? Price. The ring finger.
What I said, location,
price,
condition,
marketing, location.
Oh, marketing, yes,
right?
yes.
And marketing includes the current conditions of the status of the real estate market. It includes the agent that you choose to hire. It includes the way that they market the property online, everything from the photography all the way through to their SEO optimization and everything else that the agent is doing to market the home, right? But pricing is so key because sellers often want to target a higher price than the agent is comfortable with. And so if you're looking at why my house didn't sell, well, did you really take a deep dive into the price? Did you really take a realistic approach into the value of the home in today's market?
I feel like a lot of things that are tied to real estate now are very unrealistic.
Price-wise?
No.
What do you mean by that?
Initial expectations
of
buying and selling.
Ta-da!
So
I now know what you mean. What you're saying is the expectation that the seller has of the value of the home is equal to the expectation that the buyer has that they're going to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo with a water view in Baltimore for $300,000. Right? Like the expectations of the market are just out of alignment with the real conditions
and I'm
of the market.
like these conversations can be very difficult to have, But again, we're all going to this table saying, hey, we want to help you sell your home. We want to help you buy your home. Let's
Right.
really look at this with a realistic perspective.
Well, and when we talk about why houses don't sell, the very first thing that you should be looking at is price. And I'm not saying that your pricing was the reason that your house didn't sell. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you need to be able to analyze the price and know that you priced it at a competitive value.
Well, knowing that you're getting your property in front of the people who are actually going to buy it.
That's the second piece of the puzzle, right?
Like if you...
If
Well,
you
I do
price it aggressively and your agent did a poor job marketing it, there's a house on the market right now. It's an adorable house. I'm going to hate on the agent a little bit, but I'm not going to name her. The property is in Arnold, Maryland. My client has been looking at this house for months. No kidding. Coming soon, off the market, coming back to the market, not coming to the market. Family matters have changed, all these different things. And the house comes to the market and my client goes, ewy. Right? Like she's been waiting. And I said, yeah, the listing agent's really not doing this property a very good service. And my client's immediate reaction was, the photos suck. And I go, yeah, the photos suck. But what else is the listing agent doing to market the home? The rest of the marketing proposal is poor. So we start with price number one, but then we have market and the market valuation, right? The way that the agent is marketing the property is going to be impacting the terms of sale. I mean,
well, so like getting your property in front of the people who are actually going to buy it is just generalized. Like you can say marketing, whether it be MLS, social media, your video content, your YouTube, your flyers you send out to the neighborhood, the phone calls you make, right?
Right.
That can be marketing, but price can also dictate whether your home's in front of the people who are actually going to buy your home or not. Because if your house, let's say your house is worth $450 and you list it for $500, well, none of those $500,000 people are going to buy your house because there's something that's more appropriately priced and realistic with the market. Same thing on the low end of $450. Those buyers that are at $450, most of them probably aren't going to be shopping for that type of home at the $500 because the market value and what the neighborhood and community represent is at $450. Right, so now you're bridging into another market or another community that is giving either more amenities or not in line with what you're actually priced at. Does that make sense?
No, I totally agree. I think that the challenge is the realistic expectation. It goes back to what you started with, right? Like it goes back to understanding the realistic expectation of the market. I think the other piece of the puzzle is also understanding the market conditions. You touched on it when we're talking about pricing, we're talking about value, we're talking about condition, but also recognizing the market conditions. And oh, by the way, in a market where everything is selling in 7 minutes, in three days, and 6 days, or whatever the terms are in your neighborhood that you see, just because you put your house on the market doesn't equal that.
Yeah.
Right? Like the market conditions may be driving your assessment of your marketing and your pricing. Think about this. I put my house on the market for 7 days. Average time on market in my community is 4 days. My house doesn't sell. What do you do? What do you do? Do you just like fire your agent, quit real estate, and decide not to sell your home? But think about it. Doesn't the market condition impact your decision? There are so many sellers out there that go, we'll wait. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I got nothing but time. All I can think of is in Gone in 60 Seconds, if anybody knows the movie. I ain't got nothing but time, baby. Right? Like we're just sitting here waiting. But the reality is that we do have something much more valuable than time, which is the buyer perception. The buyer's going to look at that home 6 days on the market and go, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Let alone 16 and 26 and 45 and 64 days on the market. What happened? Who died? These are the questions that we get asked.
Yeah.
So if you're a seller and you're not taking the current market conditions into why your home didn't sell, we need to take your house off the market expeditiously so that it never gets to 16 days on the market. Repositioning is key in today's market.
I would agree.
So, all right, so your house didn't sell, beat that to a dead pulp. What do you do now? Let's create the situation. You listed a property, it's on the market, the sellers don't want to drop the price, and you're like, okay, we can come back and reevaluate after how many days?
After initially listing?
After initially listing.
I'd say maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So 14 days on market. You're saying, hey, Mike, we need to reduce the price because the house is overpriced, right? That's what you're saying to me?
If that was the case and it's overpriced, then yeah, I would say revisit in 2 weeks.
I don't want to.
What would I do? Okay, well, what can we do to justify the price here? Is your price even realistic with what's going on in the community? Because if everything's else, like let's say we have your house listed at $550, but everything's selling at $525,
yeah,
is whatever we're going for actually even attainable? So if it is attainable, okay, then how can we justify the $550 price?
Yeah. What do we need to do to create the demand for that $550?
Creating the demand, right? So like,
I'm like literally staring at this ice truck across the street. And I'm like, ooh, let's create the demand. I want Italian ice.
Would staging do your property justice?
Yeah,
right.
Improving the condition of the property is definitely
and what it would look
something
like when someone's living there. What does it look like for this home to be a home?
I love when sellers say to me, well, Tom's house sold down the street for $525. I know my house is the same floor plan, the same style, and but our carpet is in bad shape, so we're just going to give the buyer a $10,000 carpet credit, and we'll sell for $525. A bullshit.
Yeah.
A bullshit.
Like you can.
Sorry, I love you. Right? Like
people, like when you offer this credit, yes, it's going to be in the remarks of the property and the details, but like. Buyers, when they initially go to look online, what do they look at first?
Oh my God, it's so annoying.
Price and like
they say
pictures.
things like, "Oh my God, they probably skinned their knee on that carpet. I can see the spot.
I can see the scab."
It's like, geez, and they really do. I mean, they blow up the pictures. They choose what website they look at your property on based on the quality of the imagery. I mean, this is true and real. And so if you don't make the necessary upgrade and you just try and like hide it, like, oh, well, we'll give a $10,000 credit. Or you turn around and you're like, oh, we'll price $10,000 less because it's about $10,000 in carpet. Buyers walk in the door and they go like this. They go, oh, no. This is $30,000 in carpet.
Yeah, yes. That is 100% what buyers do. So why not just take the initiative, especially with so many like flexible contractors and real estate agents out there.
Right.
What if you just paid the contractor at settlement? Or what if you paid them a small deposit up front to get that carpet in? And now instead of buyers going in like, I want to negotiate this even more because this carpet sucks. What if they walked in like, wow, they just redid the carpet. You even smell it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I bet you this property has so much traffic, and then now you have not an offer at your asking price or a little over. Maybe you have it for 10 or 15 over just from that small. Like, again, you're creating more of a demand.
Yeah, I'd like to throw out there, if you guys don't already know, you can find lots of information on our website under Frank Oliver Co., under additional resources. You can go to our blog. This post is right there. It talks a little bit about how your house didn't sell. And there are some things on here, the price, the making necessary upgrades. You can take your property off the market to create that sort of like artificial demand when you put it back into the marketplace that, I want what I can't have. You can improve your marketing strategies and change your positioning by changing the agent that you choose to work with. I mean, there's no reason to change the agent when we're there unless you do. But, the other thing to remember is also there's alternative selling options. There's different ways to get your home sold. We have a client looking into those right now where, you can transfer ownership, but maybe hold back the deed, right? Where you're actually creating the opportunity for the buyer to pay you, and you're creating a little bit of cash in your pocket by holding the note, right? By creating a value where you're seller financing the property. These creative alternatives to selling in a traditional sense can really be lucrative for a lot of clients in a market like we have today. And then the last couple are getting some feedback from the buyers. Buyers are key. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like it's also a waste of time. So like don't call me up and be like, did you talk to the buyers from last week, right? Like if they didn't call me, they obviously didn't care about the property. Right. What I'd rather do is I'd rather bring someone like Christian and say, hey, Christian, look, I'm having some difficulty selling this home. Can you review the listing? Can you go down to the property? Can you give me your honest feedback? Not only is Christian a qualified real estate agent, but he's someone that I trust to give me feedback, not just go, they didn't like the way the carpet smelled. Right. Christian's going to come in and go, hey, look, really, honestly, the carpet on the main level wasn't that bad. But when I went upstairs, I smelled, let's say dog, right? I smell dog. And then I, as the listing agent, have the ability to call the seller and say, hey, I got this really strong feedback from an agent that I trust.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about potential buyers and like, ring, ring, what did you think about the house from last week, right? That is something that we do and it is valuable, but don't read too much into it. But the most important thing on this entire blog, if I can have every single seller just go to our website and read this one section, be patient, be persistent. If you sit there on your feet and you do nothing, we're not going to have any activity. But if you're aggressive about your pricing, you're aggressive about your marketing, it takes time, but good things come in time.
Before we wrap this one up.
There's so much more to it. Continue.
Well, I wanted to
Proceed.
ask you,
Yes.
when you're walking through a house with a buyer, is there anything what is your craziest story about seeing something as to where it might affect the property selling or not?
Oh my gosh.
Like one thing that stood out, and it could be something as for people listening, like the AC, and that's a very simple example. Like you're walking this house dead of summer and the AC, but what is the craziest one? Do you have one?
Man. I'm trying to think. It's always something unseen. It's like
it's a layer deeper.
Well, the example that I'm thinking of is oh, wow, what a beautiful backyard. And then you turn your head to the left and you're like, oh my God, that's a junkyard right there.
Yeah.
Right? The photos were beautiful, right? But then literally right there, just outside of you is a junkyard or something majorly traumatic that changes the buyer's perception of the home. I worry that by preventing someone from seeing something, you're actually creating worse. What is the word?
A reaction when people go out to see it.
Yeah, it's like that
Surprise,
emotional, oh my God, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like it's got to be something in the smells, in the sights where you couldn't tangibly access that from the listing.
There's one that I went to, a few. I'll try and make them quick. One I went to this weekend that on the listing, it looked beautiful. Mm-hmm. And when you got there, you're directly next to train tracks. And it just so happened to cross when we were there, loud as shit.
Yeah.
Loud as shit.
That's another example of this, just to kind of keep going, is when sellers say well-maintained, right? Do they mean that they haven't had the HVAC service since it was installed in 2007? Right? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or does it mean, hey, look, guys, I've got a 17-year-old HVAC unit, but I've had my mechanical services company out here even as recent as last week, and they told me that it was the best one that they've ever seen. Here's their notes. Take a look.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because often when I go into properties, it's not uncommon for the HVAC to be left off of the notes. But when my buyer's coming to the door, they commonly complain about that. They're like, oh, well, I didn't know that the HVAC was 17 years old. I'm like, I didn't either. But are we as marketing professionals positioning that HVAC unit to be accepted by a buyer? Right. Or are we as marketing professionals positioning that HVAC unit to be a problem for a potential buyer?
Yeah, there's another property that I walked into with one of my clients recently, about a month ago. I think I even sent a picture in the group chat. There was a dead turtle outside of the garage.
Turtle!
And there was another property that had a dead squirrel floating in the pool.
Yeah.
But two separate properties. Just ran into a lot of dead shit lately. But there was a turtle right outside the garage that was exploded.
Yeah,
like
it got
shell.
ran over.
Yeah, guts and stuff everywhere. Disgusting. It smelled like shit. Then you go into the property, and it's not bad, but the upstairs AC unit was completely blown out. Did not work.
I feel like
Hottest
that's the
crap
only
up there.
thing.
No,
it's something
there was an
out of perception.
Well,
online.
right. But then we also went to the property. Here's another out of perception thing. This is all the same property, by the way. We take a lap around the outside, just kind of look at some of the landscaping, things like that. And the siding on the house is melted.
Oh yeah.
There's
Do you know
no
what happens?
No. I've never.
So
I've
it's
never
a combination
seen it.
of two different things. The first is a grill, right? People.
But there
put
was
their
no grill marks.
All right. The second one. This is the one that gets everybody. It's a window that the sun is reflecting off the window.
Then it's got to be the neighbor's house.
Yeah, so the sun hits the neighbor's window and it reflects and it just kind of drags through. That's why it's such a big area.
That kind of makes sense because it was on the sides of the house
It's always
where
on
the
the
neighbors
side.
were.
Always.
And Dude, it was like from top to bottom. And then the agents called me for feedback.
And I bet you there's no mildew on that side of the house at all.
No.
Right. Because it's all the moisture's dried up by the sun. It worked out really well.
The agent called me for feedback, and I was like, well, we think, one, the house is overpriced for its current condition. You know, it has the melted siding on both sides. The AC's not working. Dead turtle, blah, blah, blah. And there might have been a few other small things that we had noticed. And they had it priced $40,000 over a house that was the same square footage, better condition in the community, wondering why it didn't sell.
Right.
And then they were like, well, send us a full price offer. We'll fix all of these things.
Yeah, but it's too late.
Right. Like the buyer has already made his he already has the picture in mind.
Or
of
her.
Sorry. Yes. Already has the idea of what this house is to them in their mind.
Right.
Of seeing those things.
So you had
that first impression is great.
Experience
Well, it needs to be
recently
great.
where your client overpriced the market, knowingly that she wanted to try and target the market because, well, I've got time to wait. I ain't got nothing but time. I'm going to wait. So I'm going to overprice the market a little bit and see if I can push my numbers, right? Then you guys had a repositioning of the property. What advice did you give your client when she was feeling discouraged or frustrated with her house not selling in that 4 or 6 day window?
What advice did I give her?
Yeah.
Well, there was one strategy that we had talked about, and it's listed on our blog, so check it out. But taking your house off the market, letting the current pool of buyers go out and do their thing, right? These buyers might not have been right for us, but take their property off the market, let those buyers go do their own thing, and come back fresh in 14 to 30 days. New buyers are in the market. Our days on market are still low enough to where it's not going to have a huge impact on the perception of the home. So then when we returned to the market, and then within the next week, we had, I think it was 3 offers? 3 offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 maybe? Maybe one came in after the...
But one did come in after you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it was 4 offers. So that was the kind of strategy that we had implemented, and it ended up working, right? I think that was the best way to go about it. There was no need to stage her home. Photos were absolutely fantastic. Shout out Mike Donovan. But
I think sometimes the discouragement is just real. It's like, you know, real estate agents are so many more things other than marketing specialists. We're also just an emotional support animal. Someone described it today as our 4th job in real estate is life support, transaction life support.
we should add that to our buyer and listing it. Just have like a separate document branded Frank Oliver Collective.
You heard
your
it here.
emotional real estate agent
bring
support.
Bring it to meeting tomorrow, Liv, and then let Christian yell at you.
Your
emotional support animal.
Yeah.
But I mean, transactional life support, it was such an interesting thought. And I don't think I would ever really like portray that to someone as a part of our job, but I do believe that a part of our job is like that emotional support animal, like coddling and supporting, not in a way that's like you're not good enough or capable or, you know, professional enough or adult enough, but sometimes just being a sounding board, like, sorry, Susu, I love you, right? Like, this is bullshit. Why do we not get an offer?
Gosh.
Why do we not? My next door neighbor's house just so, give it to me. Tell me how you feel. Like, we almost have to be that sounding board because it's so frustrating when you're dealing with your largest investment to just be patient, right? Like, it's so frustrating. There's nothing a seller can do when the buyer is in control.
You know, it reminds me of like this meme that I saw this weekend about it was like a financial advisor, POV, when a boomer comes in and thinks you're scamming him for all of his money for some $10 fee for your investment fund. He's like, well, I see I made like $100,000 from this investment in the past 6 months, but what's this $12 fee here? Why are you charging me this? Just ripping him apart. And I was like, I don't have any control over that. I don't have but like just taking it and then explaining.
It's
like,
also wild. Like the direction of our
that.
real estate industry, there's going to be so much of that coming down the pike. And I fear that real estate agents just, instead of turning the corner and finding ways to combat the current conditions of the market, real estate agents are just sitting on their laurels. Like, this is what we deserve.
I don't like the term combat, but I think provide a solution.
No, I think real estate agents are combating it.
Well, no, I do think they are.
Oh, okay.
But you should be providing solutions rather than trying to just combat what's in front of you.
The way that I put it to my clients is, we're going to work together to get through this, because without me, you can't do this. And without you, I can't do this. And some clients turn around and they go, I can do this without you. And I go, you're right.
Go do it.
Right? Like, why am I here? Right? There's no other answer other than you're right. You could do this without me. I'm fully aware of that. But ultimately, by taking this challenge on together, we're going to be able to get through all the wild changes of real estate where buyers are coming in asking sellers to pay for little fees and ticky-tacky this and that and home repairs and other things. And remember, when your transaction is on life support, the agent that you want is the one that defends themselves, right? When they defend themselves feverishly, they're going to defend you feverishly.
That is a very good point.
All right. Well, hey, so there's a lot of things going on this summer. Obviously, you guys know we just came out of 4th of July and everybody's winding down off of their adventures. It's a hot week, so I'm going to advise everybody to find something to do near the water. Sprinkler was like my jam as a kid, right? We're not allowed to play with guns anymore, but Super Soakers were also my jam. But if you live near the water, you have the access to the water, get out there. Also, Potomac Jazz and Seafood Festival is coming up this weekend at St. Clements Island Museum in Colton's Point. There's a lot of other things happening throughout the market, but also our home buyer event is coming up in
July 20th.
Yeah, in 12 days.
It's at the Worthington in Canton. It's going to be a great time. Great food, great drinks, great information on the home buying process. And
if you've had any thoughts about it, it's a great point to start, and you might as well start when we're doing a whole brunch day.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for tuning in. Mike, you got anything else?
I got nothing. You know where to reach us. If you need to reach me on Instagram at michael.frank___, on our website at frankoliverco.com.
You can find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead, and we'll leave it at that.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.